Frank, too analyst with something to say. From the draft to the Stanley Cup, if you love the game, turn it up.
McDavid, McKinnon, and Beddard.
All of the players of high regard,
We'll cover them all and not just the stars.
report on every play fit for a memoir.
Every moment the passion's real. From the puck drop to OT thrill. We're talking hockey, we always will. BarDown, let's go!
BarDown, talking hockey. BarDown, talking hockey.
BarDown, talking hockey. BarDown, talking hockey.
What's up and welcome back to BarDown Talking Hockey episode number 211, presented by the Barroom Network. It is the home of everything relating to the greatest league in the world, the NHL. My name is Vinnie Parisi, and I am not going to talk about the New Jersey Devils. And this right here, this is Frankie Mueller, and he is the king of all beans. Frank, Devils actually won the Hughes Bowl again.
Isn't that nuts?
I'm pretty sure they've only lost any iteration of the Hughes Bowl once.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver was mostly mid during Quinn's time there, but the Wild are super elite, and they just didn't have it on Monday night. So, and the Devils played well. So we'll get to that all of it in a minute. But Frank, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, I don't know if you've ever woken up to something so surprising it like catches you off guard. But I woke up, went to the bathroom, did my business, do what you got to do. And then I see there's snow on the ground. I was absolutely stunned, jaw dropping. Did not expect snow. And I like to think I keep up on the weather. It was like high 40s yesterday. So snow wasn't even on my mind. And I wake up and I see there's snow on the ground. It's like something you never expected to happen. And I'm sitting here reading the chat, and Travis is talking about his 70-degree weather that he's having. And I wake up, beautiful day yesterday, and there's snow on the ground today.
Will it make you feel better if I tell you, as the resident weather guy around here, that it was not in the forecast? And it is a surprise.
I mean, it doesn't really make me feel any better. I mean, it's just very surprising. It's like, I don't know.
It should make you feel better because your surprise was valid. It was not supposed to snow like that.
Isn't Alaska, there's somewhere where it's like nighttime most of the year?
Yeah, Alaska.
Yeah, that'd be like waking up in Alaska for the first time and waking up and it's pitch black. It would catch me off guard. I'd love to see that. I think that'd be fun. It'd mess with my sleep cycle and stuff, but
I want to go in both ends of the spectrum. I want to go in the summer when it's light 24/7.
Yeah.
I want to eat Taco Bell outside at 2 a.m. when it's bright.
When it's bright as can be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there might be in the summer an hour where it gets dark because the Earth tilts on a certain axis during the winter, and that's what makes it dark in Alaska full time.
Yeah, it's honestly crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Weather's crazy. Nature's crazy. You know what else is crazy?
Breaking news, VP. This is very important. Very, very, very important. The Taco Bell in Anchorage, Alaska is open 24 hours.
That is huge. That is huge. All right, man. Maybe one day we'll make that little drive. Maybe we'll do we can't really do a Canucks trip because when it's 24 hours, I don't think the Canucks are in business. But maybe we can do a Seattle Mariners game.
Ooh.
Stop in Seattle, then fly to Alaska. It would have to be a decent trip, but I would love to do something like that.
Plan for it though.
Yeah.
You plan ahead.
100%. Well, you know what else I was going to say, Frank? You know what else is crazy? The National Hockey League. And we're going to discuss why in period number 1. We're actually going to discuss why in period number 1 and period number 2 because each conference is wild in different ways. So today was the type of show where I figured it'd be good to divide. I do this every now and again, divide the show divide the league into two conferences and talk about them. And then, of course, we're going to get to some NFL business in the third period. Frankie Mueller stands should be saying, uh-oh.
Excuse me?
Well, there are two things that happened this weekend that made me want to punch a cardboard cutout of you. Well, there were actually three, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to it.
Three's crazy.
We'll get to that. But Frank, the Western Conference, there is a lot of mid in the Western Conference. I would say it's mostly mid. There are 3 elite teams, like 10 mid teams, and then like 2 or 3 trash bag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the East, which we'll get to in the second, there's like 5 elite teams, like 4 or 5 mid teams, and then a bunch of trash. But all the trash has like make the playoff potential. Like truly. Like we'll get to it. In the Western Conference though, Frank, in the Pacific Division, you got the Vegas Golden Knights leading with the Edmonton Oilers tied and the Seattle Kraken 4 points behind both of them. And in the Central Division, the Colorado Avalanche are running away with it. They've only lost 4 games in regulation, followed by the Dallas Stars and Minnesota Wild, who keep jockeying for second and third. I feel bad for one of them because one of them's going home midway through April. They're going to be wanting home ice. That's going to be a battle till the end. Who gets home ice between those two? And then the wild card rotate every day. Right now, it's the Utah Mammoth and the San Jose Sharks. The Los Angeles Kings have spent some time in there. All of a sudden, the Nashville Predators have surged up into that race. The Anaheim Ducks have fallen into that race because they were near the top of the Pacific Division for a long time. And all of a sudden, the surging Chicago Blackhawks, St. Louis Blues, and Calgary Flames are right there. And then the Winnipeg Jets, they're a little run away from being in the mix. They're pretty far out still, though. And then the Vancouver Canucks are the team that's sold. I would say they are the cellar dweller of the Western Conference and will be for the whole season. Frank, first, we'll get into what I would call the power ranking of the conference. What 5 teams, and this is not, I wanted to be clear, this is not ranking by the standings. This is ranking teams by who you think is more powerful, who would win a playoff series. What is your power ranking of the teams in the Western Conference go?
5 through 1 or 1 through 5?
Go 1 through 5, because I'll give mine and then we'll yell at each other.
Okay. Number 1, Colorado Avalanche. And they're just not the number 1 team on my power rankings in the Western Conference. They would be number 1 on my power rankings if I were to do an entire NHL power rankings. I mean, they're 33, 4, and 8. And the interesting is they got 2 of their 4 regulation losses within the last week or so. But other than that, a majority of the year, they only had 2 losses on their resume. When teams get a win over the Colorado Avalanche, it feels like you won the Stanley Cup this year. And it's electrifying, and they're unbelievable, and they're a wagon. Number 2, they jumped for me. This team wasn't number 2 on my power rankings a couple weeks ago, but it's the Minnesota Wild. I would put the Minnesota Wild ahead of the Dallas Stars right now just because of the team's respected form as of late. Ever since the acquisition of Quinn Hughes, the team's been a true Stanley Cup contender. They've looked great. They limit their opponents to high danger chances. They have a very balanced offense and defense, and they're just a team that other teams in the Central Division and in the NHL that they look to model their core after. They're playing great. They've been unbelievable as well. Number 3, I got the Dallas Stars. They were second on my power rankings in the Western Conference for basically the entire season, but they only have 2 wins in their last 10 games. They're clearly struggling at the moment. But, at the end of the day, a power rankings is how well a team is currently doing mixed with how well they've done up until this point in the year. I mean, they're still one of the best teams in the NHL. Jason Robertson has really turned on the Jets and having a much better season than we've seen out of him the past couple of years. He wants to hit 100 points again. He's one of the best U.S.-born players in the NHL. Wyatt Johnston is on pace for a 40-goal season. Mikko Rantanen's doing Mikko Rantanen things. Plus, Ottinger and DeSmith, they have been one of the best goalie tandems in the league. DeSmith only has 2 losses in 12 games. They're very dangerous. They're just in a little slump right now, but I expect them to get out of it. 4, I got the Vegas Golden Knights. The Knights, they're hot right now. They've won 4 in a row. This is the point in the season where we're used to seeing when Vegas starts to turn up the heat to 100%. I mean, this is a team I never want to play because they're always contenders and they're always a tough team to defeat. And Jack Eichel's a game changer at both ends of the ice. Mark Stone's getting hot. He recently had a 7-game goal streak snapped. Mitch Marner's, he's a playmaking wizard. I mean, the only thing that scares me right now is the goaltending, which Schmidt, he's been great this year. But when you compare him to other top goaltenders in the league on some of these more elite teams, they just don't have that elite goaltender. His save percentage is under 900, which is a bit of a red flag for me. But he's been playing well, and they've been finding ways to win. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And 5, I got the Edmonton Oilers. You know, any team with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl playing is going to be a team that's going to be hard to contend with. If this team's playing at their full potential, they're always going to be a top team in the NHL. The Oilers, what makes them so great is they're able to force the matchups they want because that's just how talented they are. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, when they're on the ice, they'll make sure they have the best possible matchup against defenders and against other forwards on the ice. And that's what makes them so good, and that's how they create opportunities. They use their speed and their skill to get exactly what they want. And I think the Oilers, you could classify them as the most dangerously flawed contender in the NHL. They have the tools they need to win it all, but when one thing fails them, their lack of consistency, it's the reason why they can't be higher on this list. But nonetheless, I got them at 5.
Ours are very similar, obviously. I figured it'd probably be the same 5 teams. There was one other team I was curious if you would include. Yeah, I have number 1, Colorado. I mean, what Cale Makar will be my Norris Trophy vote if the season were to end today. Nathan McKinnon, it's close for MVP. I think it's a 3-horse race right now. But, you know, with what he's doing with Nietzsche's, Brent Burns has had a resurgence. They're getting good goaltending from both Blackwood and Wedgwood. It's just an awesome team from top to bottom. 2, I would put the Minnesota Wild as well. They just recently jumped the Dallas Stars, basically since the Quinn Hughes trade. They lost to the Devils on Monday, but they've played really well lately. I mean, they have a well-balanced offense led by Kirill Kaprizov, Matt Boldy, Joel Eriksson, Matt Zuccarello's having an insane year. They're getting production in the bottom or middle 6 from guys like Ryan Hartman. Vinny Hinostroza's having an awesome season. On defense with Faber and Hughes, that's one of the best pairs in the National Hockey League. The fact that Brodin and Spurgeon, 2 veteran Wizards defensive defensemen, are like second-pair defensemen on that team is unbelievable. They get good goaltending from probably, in my opinion, the best duo in the NHL, Jesper Wallstedt and Philip Gustafsson. They both made Team Sweden. They're both going to get their chance. It's an incredible group. So I really like what the Wild are doing. 3, I would put the Edmonton Oilers. I'm putting the Oilers 3rd because, yes, in the standings of these 5, they would be 5th. But in the power rankings, I would put the Oilers 3rd based on the way they've played lately. My only quarrel with the Oilers is they have yet to win 3 in a row. They're the only team that's considered elite that hasn't won 3 games in a row yet this season. It's so strange to me because they're 23, 16, and 8, which is good, but it could be great if they find a way to string some wins together. Like they lost in overtime yesterday to the Nashville Predators due to a bad goalie turnover, and Roman Josi deposited it. So it's going to be interesting to see how they move forward. Connor McDavid's on a 20-game point streak right now. That is that is a career high for him. 20 straight games with a point. Every time they play Nashville, Leon Draisaitl goes off, and he sure did again yesterday. They ended up losing in overtime, of course, but McDavid, 20 straight games with a point. I saw them in person on Monday night against the Chicago Blackhawks, and they were outstanding. They're fast. They're hard to forecheck against. They're hard to backcheck against. Everything about the Oilers is hard to play against, and it wouldn't shock me if they make a 3rd straight trip to the Stanley Cup final. 4th, I have the Vegas Golden Knights. The Vegas Golden Knights have won 4 in a row. They've won 4 in a row. They're 21, 11, and 12, and they've done a lot of this without Jack Eichel, William Karlsson, a lot of these guys being healthy for the full season. I still think they may do what they can to go out and try to find some goaltending help, maybe add a defenseman to the mix. Alex Pietrangelo is not coming back, but they do have Shea Theodore. It's a really, really good team, and their forward depth is as strong as it's been. Tomas Hertl, Mark Stone, as you mentioned, has been outstanding. So we'll see how it goes for Vegas going forward, but I think they're only going to go up on this list, if anything. And then fifth, I have the Dallas Stars. I mean, the top five, you're splitting hairs with anyone other than Colorado. 2 through 5 could go in any order. They're 27, 11, and 9. Really, really good record, but the problem is they've fallen off a little bit. 2, 4, and 4 in their last 10. They lost their most recent game. I like their plus 28 goal differential, which is the second best in the Western Conference. It's funny, it's the second best in the Western Conference, but they trail Colorado by 51. So it's kind of crazy the difference between Colorado and everybody else in the conference. Like I said, 2 through 5 can go in any order. Wouldn't shock me if Dallas is 2 by this time, the next time we do a power ranking of such sort. I do think of these 5 teams, they would make 5 of the top 7 if we were to power rank the NHL as a whole. I really think the Western Conference is that dominant at the top. Frank, of the teams in the Western Conference, now this could be anybody, whether it's in your top 5 or not, who is the surprise good team and the surprise bad team in your estimation?
You know, this question's got a little bit of an asterisk here because of the team I'm choosing, but it's just it needs to be talked about. So my surprise good is the Seattle Kraken. The Pacific Division, they've been so bad this year, and because how bad they've been, the Seattle Kraken are holding on to a division spot. They're winning low-scoring games. They're relying on the whole team to contribute because the Seattle Kraken don't have those super-duper stars to rely on. I mean, you actually take a look at their team, and you almost have to do a double take because the whole team is really, really having a horrible season, but they're just finding ways to win games. I mean, they're 7-1-2 in their last 10 games. But if you look at the team, Jordan Eberle and Matty Beniers are tied for the team league the team lead in scoring with 29 points. Not because they missed time and they've only played 20 games and they got 29 points, but because the team has no offense whatsoever. Eberle and Beniers have 42 and 44 games played. They've played almost every single game, and they tied for the team lead in points with 29 points. That almost doesn't seem right. It almost looks like their stat lines are typos, but they've been so good lately that it just doesn't make sense. They've been finding ways to win. I don't see them sustaining that either. I don't think they're going to end up making the playoffs. I think they're going to fall off a bit, especially if the offense can't get cooking and it continues to follow the same pattern we've seen. But it just surprises me how good they've been with how bad their offense has been.
I had 2 answers prepared. I was going to say the opposite of whatever you said. And the same thing goes for the surprise bad. I'm just going to feed off it. But I will mention the Kraken were the other team I was going to say if you didn't say them, if you were going to say a different team. But my God, I don't get it either. It's not like having 29 points is terrible, and you can deflect that and counter argue it and say, oh, it just means they have good balance in their lineup. It's not all one guy. You're not being carried by a McDavid or a Draisaitl or a combination of anything else. But it does feel unsustainable. Their advanced metrics are not good. None of the goalies are having that great of a year. We'll see if they fall off. I'm beyond saying a team is going to fall off though because it's January 14th. We're not in November anymore. We're through half a season. Could they fall off exponentially? Yes. But is it as easy to say that now as it would have been on November 1st? No. Like, there's enough of a sample size now to be like, okay, the Kraken are just one of those teams that find ways to win. Mm-hmm. And it could be sustainable. I'm not positive it is. We'll see. But the other team I was going to bring up was the Nashville Predators. They were down in the dumps at the beginning of the season. I mean, they were terrible. Steven Stamkos couldn't score a goal. It was like, why did they even sign Brady Shea? Where the hell is Jonathan Marchessault? Is Barry Trotz going to get fired before he even really gets going as the GM of this team? Well, all of a sudden, Steven Stamkos is on fire. He looks like the old Steven Stamkos that he was playing with the Lightning. Marchessault's been productive. They're getting good goaltending. I mean, they have Roman Josi and UC Saros, and lo and behold, they're 6-4-0 in their last 10. They've won 2 in a row. They have 48 points. They're 1 point behind the playoff line. If you would have told me that on Thanksgiving, that we'd be approaching, halfway through January and we'd be getting to that, I would have been like, dude, get lost. You don't even watch hockey. They're terrible. They're boring to watch. Everything about Nashville is terrible. And last year they were horrible. I mean, just truly terrible. So the fact that they're this good right now, it's a surprise to me. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? It's going to be tough because Utah and San Jose, the Kings have been really brutal. Anaheim fell out, but could they go on a run again? They have a lot of good young players that are exciting. Same thing with Chicago. it's not a lock that they end up getting in, but they're not at the bottom, which is a complete surprise to me in a good way.
And there's so many teams who are under that playoff line who are so close, who could make it. I mean, the playoff races so far this year have been crazy, and we're only middle through January.
You get that 8th spot in the Western Conference, though, you get smoked by Colorado, or you could be in the sweepstakes to get one of McKenna, Veerhoff, or Svenberg. So, I mean,
Or you pull off the miraculous big upset of all time. Could you imagine?
Anybody who thinks that's not possible is like, that it is possible. Tampa Bay had 128 points in 2018-19, and they got swept in the first round by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Mhm.
And,
That's
it's
crazy.
possible. Anything is possible. The Bruins, they broke the record for the greatest season of all time. Florida was better than Columbus, so it's less crazy. And Florida probably should have been higher than the 8th seed. The Bruins kind of got screwed in that regard. But still, it happened. It happened. Surprise bad. There's a obvious answer that I think you're going to say, which is what gave me the idea to have a second team in mind for both.
Okay, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. And that's the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets go from winning the President's Trophy last season to being one of the worst looking teams in the NHL this season. The goaltending hasn't been there. We're used to Hellebuck putting up Vezina numbers and winning the Jennings Trophy by himself because the backup doesn't play enough games to qualify. I mean, this year the goalie tandem isn't what it once was, and Hellebuck actually he has a losing record this season. I think we all thought the Jets would come back, regress a little bit and come back down to earth and wouldn't have the same type of season that they had last year. But nothing just seems to be going right for the Winnipeg Jets season so far. And they're like at the bottom. I think they're the second worst team in the Western Conference right now. The only team worse, the Vancouver Canucks.
Absolutely. That was obviously the team. I wasn't just going to steal the thunder, and I let you say them first. So, I had a backup team ready, but the Jets are the answer, right? Outside of Scheifele and Connor, they can't score. It's not Hellebuck's fault, in my opinion. I think he's actually having an okay year. He's going to play for Team USA. It's probably going to be a big boost to him. Of all the teams at the bottom, a 9-game winning streak, getting them back into the mix wouldn't shock me. But I mean, I wonder, they've been really bad. 18, 22, and 5. Yeah. They're 3, 5, and 2 in their last 10. But those three are 3 in a row. That's the thing, active. So they've won 3 games in a row. And Jonathan Taves is starting to heat up. He has 4 points, 3 goals, and 1 assist in his last 5 games. He will make his return to the United Center as a visiting player for the first time ever on Monday night. The backup team I was thinking of was the St. Louis Blues. They're 18, 21, and 8. They had a resurgent year. They lost to Winnipeg in the first round last season, and they were about to beat them in 7. And then the Jets tied it with under a minute left and won it in overtime. But the Blues have been awful. It kind of looks like they're going to sell a little bit. Jim Montgomery, he can't even get guys to come out and come in relief for their goaltending situation.
That was so funny.
I think Hofer might have been in the back taking a dump. I don't know what his deal was, but he was like, I'm not going. There's 7 minutes left.
The corner.
I mean, what are you doing trying to pull a guy with 7 minutes left? And you should have pulled him. You know when they should have pulled him? I think did we talk about this at all? I think we did. We didn't talk about it. No. The Blackhawks went ahead and a goal. I forget who scored it. It might have been. I forget who scored it. It was Oliver Moore. It was Oliver Moore. Oliver Moore shot one, and it went off his glove and in. I'm like, Binnington doesn't have it tonight. He just does. And that put the Hawks up 2-1. But then the Blues come down and tie it. Next shift, the Blues show some heart, come down and tie it. Then what happens about a minute later? Yes, there were 3 goals in a minute 40, I think it was. Connor Murphy takes a blast from the blue line, and it goes off of Binnington's pad and in. 3-2 Hawks. They end up smoking them from there. I'm thinking to myself, how does Jim Montgomery not pull him after that second goal to go off of his paraphernalia and into the net? It was just crazy to me. So, not sure what's going on there in St. Louis. I can't believe Binnington made Team Canada. He's going to start game 1 because they're dumb. And not as crazy as the Jets, but still crazy.
And I still hope you're wrong that Binnington doesn't start game 1.
Then what did he make the team for?
because you have to have 3 goalies.
Blackwood would have been a better option. We went through the list of goalies that would have been.
No, I know. I hope you're wrong because it's just so stupid.
I hope I'm right so that they could justify having him on the team at all. Because if he's the third goalie, he's not the guy you bring in for vibes. Everybody hates him. He's apparently like a super douche. He wouldn't even come out of the game when he was called. So
we'll find out soon.
Yes, we will.
Very soon.
We're less than a month away from the old Olympics. Can't wait. Frank, can't wait.
I love the Olympics.
Cannot wait.
The Olympics is my time to just watch stuff like that I normally wouldn't watch, like skeleton in the Winter Olympics. Like I'll put on anything.
You gonna wake up for all this stuff though?
No, but if I got nothing to do, I'll throw it on. Like 90% of the stuff on the TV during Olympics is Olympic stuff.
Yeah, it's a crazy schedule.
I do like to see the opening ceremony, for sure.
The gold medal
or not.
Yeah, the gold medal game is Sunday, February 22nd at 8:10 a.m. So the day before the bronze medal game, 2:40.
I mean, that I'd wake up for, obviously.
Yeah, there are most of the games are in the morning. I think Team USA and Canada have a couple 3 o'clock games, but for the most part, it's going to be coffee and breakfast while watching these Olympic hockey games, which honestly I'm here for.
Yeah,
I'm super here for it.
100%.
All right, Frank, let's chat it on up in the Eastern Conference in period number 2. Let's do the exact same thing. Your top 5.
Number 1 in the East on my power rankings is the Tampa Bay Lightning. My way too early to predict preseason Stanley Cup matchup had the Tampa Bay Lightning making it to the Stanley Cup. Right now, they are looking that good to make the Stanley Cup, make a big run, and maybe even win the Stanley Cup. They've won 11 straight games in a row, tying the season-long record this season for consecutive wins. I think the other team was the Sabres, who won 11 straight, right? VP?
Yeah. I think it was 10. It was it 11? It might have been 11.
Anyway, in doing so, during this win streak, they've taken first place in the Atlantic Division. Everyone you want to see doing well on the Lightning are doing well. And Andrei Vasilevsky, he's putting up Vezina numbers. Watch out for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They are getting hot at the right time. Number 2, I got the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina is a very talented team, but what makes them even harder to beat is their defense has been suffocating. Over the past 3 games, they have only given up 47 shots on goal in 3 games. That makes it very easy on Anderson and Bussi, and now your defense is going to be even better with Slavin back in the lineup after missing 39 games this season. This team is one of the best defensive teams in the National Hockey League, and they've always been more heavily defensive-minded under Rod Brind'Amour, but this year looks to be one of their best defensive years under him as a head coach. They got a really, really good defense, and I think that's going to bode well in the playoffs. We'll see, though, because they usually fall off in the playoffs, getting swept at some point, I think in the conference finals. But number 3, I got the Red Wings. John Gibson was awful when he first came to Detroit, but lately he's looked to be a lot better. He looks to be their answer. He's just allowing just 4 goals over his last 3 starts. All of them were wins. That includes a 4-0 shutout of the Canadiens at the Bell Center, which is never an easy place for an opposing goaltender to play. The rookies are getting on the score sheet. The star players, they're performing. Moritz Seider is one of the best all-around defensemen in the game. And when you put that all together, it's not hard to see why the Red Wings are one of the top teams in the Atlantic. Not to mention Patrick Kane. He looks hungry for his 4th Stanley Cup. He's just 4 points away from being the highest-scoring U.S.-born hockey player in NHL history, which he'll probably break over the next week or so. The Red Wings, their young guys are putting it together right now, and they look dangerous. 4, I got the Montreal Canadiens. Huge credit to the Canadiens, who had a great December. They've had a great start to the new year. Montreal's won 5 of 7. They continue to climb up in the power rankings, the league standings as well. The only 2 losses in their last 7 when they've won 5 of when they've won 5 of their last 7, were a couple of shutout defeats. They lost 4-0 to the Red Wings. Obviously, I mentioned that, and Jacob Fowler's been in net both times. But I mean, come on, Fowler could use some support here. Marty St. Louis continues to roll with 3 goalies, which for the most part is paying off, but something you rarely see. All 3 goalies in their system right now have had their fair share of playing time. The thing that to me that makes the Canadians so great is they have so many young, talented players. And it's finally coming together. But they are, I would expect them to continue climbing this power ranking in the East, because the East is just not as dominant as the West right now. So I expect them to climb up maybe a little bit more. They could overtake Detroit. Maybe they could even overtake Carolina, but I do really love Carolina's defense. And then number 5 for me, it's going to be a surprise. But number 5 is the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've been playing some great hockey recently, and they actually picked up their game quite a bit. Despite their 6-1 loss to the Mammoth, they had a very nice win against the Colorado Avalanche, where they snapped the Avalanche's 17-game home streak. They looked very impressive. William Nylander was great in that game. They didn't take their foot off the gas against the Canucks the game before that, when they won 5-0. They're 8-1-2 in their last 11 games. They're still struggling on their power play quite a bit this year, which is a bit surprising, but their even strength scoring has definitely made up for it. The rest of January for them is going to be a nightmare. They have one of the toughest January schedules in the league. So we're really going to see if the Toronto Maple Leafs are for real at the end of January, or if these better teams that they're going to come up against are going to really, kind of put them down in the dumps and put them in that slump. But this is going to be a huge test for them. But right now, the way they're playing, they're 5th for me in the Eastern Conference.
Very interesting. Ours are a tad bit different, but there's not much to argue with on your list. It's subjective, but my number 1 is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously, having them at 1 in this feels as chalk as having Colorado as 1 in the West. You're suggesting to me you don't pay attention if you say otherwise. They've won 11 in a row. They're 10-0-0 in their last 10, obviously. The thing that's remarkable to me is they're 12-9-0 at home, which is good, but they're 17-4-3 away from Tampa Bay, which is insanity. They lead the Eastern Conference with 61 points. The fact that they only lead the conference by 1 point, despite winning 11 in a row, talks about the parity in the conference. But you have Nikita Kucherov. Braden Point's hurt. We'll see how that affects them. He's going to be week to week. That opens the door for Connor Bedard to be on the Olympic team. I think when they say they're looking for similar replacements, Connor Bedard replacing Braden Point kind of feels like a similar replacement, in my opinion. So, yeah, Tampa Bay Lightning, really good. Kucherov, Point. They have Vasilevsky, still Hedman. They brought back McDonough. I like their depth. It's a really good team. Number 2, I would put the Detroit Red Wings, 28-16-4. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. Patrick Kane, Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond, Moritz Seider might be like a top 5 Norris guy this season. They're getting good goaltending. So, having 26 regulation or overtime wins right up there near the top of the Eastern Conference too. I got the Red Wings at 2. Number 3, I would put the Carolina Hurricanes, 28-15-4. There's not one flashy player just dominating everything for them, but they have Jarvis, who was an Olympic snub, obviously with Svechnikov and Sebastian Aho, amongst other good players. But the true mark of how elite they can be, you brought it up, will be what they look like when Slavin comes back into the lineup. Slavin, in my opinion, is the best defensive defenseman in the NHL. He provides you zero offense, so it's hard to consider him like a true blue number 1, because number 1s are supposed to kind of do both. But, I mean, as far as shutdown defensemen go, he'll be with Team USA if he's healthy. I mean, it's hard to identify somebody who's better on the defensive side of the puck than Jacob Slavin. So he will elevate Carolina even further. We'll see how it goes. At number 4, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 23-16-7. They are 7-1-2 in their last 10 games. They did take a tough loss on the second half of a back-to-back, as you mentioned, to Utah. Utah kind of like crapped on them early too, and it kind of really put it out of reach. I wonder how that game looks if they just figure out a way to weather the storm a little bit earlier in the game. But it kind of got out of reach early, and then guys start going for la skates out there sometimes. And that Gunther snipe, absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, the Maple Leafs are really good. Matthews is hot, right? He's scoring goals every game, basically. It seems like, again, he's looking like the Austin Matthews of old, which is perfectly right in time for the Olympics, with Team USA really desperately needing his, prowess if they want to be a gold medal caliber team. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out for them. But Frank, number 5, I put the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins have been unbelievable. They're 26-19-2, climbed themselves back in. They've won 4 in a row. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. And it's not just David Pastrnak carrying the load anymore. They're getting production. Even Morgan Geekie, not just him. This Konstantinov having 4 goals. Murad Konstantinov, I'll say it right eventually. 4 goals against the New York Rangers in their 10-2 victory last week. I mean, just the Bruins, Pavel Zacha, all of a sudden looks like the guy who was drafted 6th overall. I mean, everything's rolling for the Bruins right now. McAvoy's unbelievable, even with his stupid face shield on that he's wearing because of his jaw issue. He'll be on Team USA as well. They're getting great goaltending from Swayman, a nice little shutout victory yesterday over Detroit, who I had ahead of them on this list, which is funny. But, I love the way the Bruins are playing right now. It's interesting. 16-8-1 at TD Garden. Not so great away from home. 10-11-1 away from TD Garden. And we will see them in person on Saturday night when they're at the United Center taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. So it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of correct these road woes over time. But so far, so good this season for the Boston Bruins, who aren't going to be in the lottery like most of us originally thought. So that's my top 5, Frank. Who is your surprise good? And you could roll right into your surprise bad, too.
My surprise good is the Detroit Red Wings. I thought the Red Wings would be fighting for a playoff spot for sure, but they're fighting for a division right now. Like, I had them sneaking into the postseason. I wasn't expecting Atlantic Division champion levels from them, and I don't really expect them to win it just with how well Tampa Bay is playing right now. But
I was going to say, it took an 11-game streak from Tampa to even pass them.
But there's so much time left that they can win it. And it's just crazy enough that halfway through January, we're having this conversation about them. I mean, their young core is just really starting to click. So I'm very impressed with the way the Red Wings have been this season so far. My surprise bad, I mean, have the pick of the litter. I mean, there are many teams you could pick to be a surprise bad in the Eastern Conference. But I said the New Jersey Devils, and I picked them to be mine because Jack Hughes, he's been hurt, and I don't really think that they should be this bad with Jack Hughes hurt. The Devils have an unbelievable young core. They should be able to hold on to their fair share here. And when he went down with an injury, they were in a division spot. They were really good. And now they're below the line and they fell off quick. I mean, we talk about every year that they need to stay healthy to be contenders, and they just can't do that. But I still think, despite injuries, they're very talented, that they should be able to be consistent enough to win more games than they have been. So it's just a bit surprising that when their top guy goes down, they're just not able to hold it on a little bit longer and more.
I'm also saying the New Jersey Devils, and I didn't have a backup one because I wasn't sure if you were going to say them. Like you said, there's a lot. I wouldn't say Florida because they're missing their 2 best forwards. Kachuk and Barkov could come back. No one wants to play them in round 1. And they're 2 points below the playoff line. They can easily get in. Pittsburgh, Philly, Buffalo, any of them could easily get in. I think Ottawa, Columbus, and the New York Rangers are dead. The Rangers are the only team in the Eastern Conference below 500. They absolutely stink. I think everybody else from the Devils above have a chance, but I'm going to poo-poo on the New Jersey Devils a little bit. Jack Hughes goes down, and you all crumble the way that you do. He's back now, and he's been great. He's been great since coming back. I'd like to. I still am not positive he's fully back because he's not ripping it like he was before his hand injury, which could be affected by said hand injury. But, the off-ice glass gate. But, I mean, what a joke. And I've never seen a team, ever, more impacted by a move they didn't make than the New Jersey Devils with Quinn Hughes. They took a steep dive after not getting Quinn. What that did to shockwave that team is absolutely unbelievable. And I know for a fact that that's a reason they've been struggling in the calendar year of 2026, towards the end of December, too. The Minnesota Wild traded for Quinn. You know, Jackson, they're telling him, oh, yeah, they're trying. They're trying to get this. He knows. Quinn's not keeping things from his brother. He's telling them. And they tried and they tried and they tried and they did not get it done. They were not able to match the package that the Minnesota Wild were able to do. They weren't able to offload Dougie Hamilton's contract or Andre Palat's contract to make the money work because they refused no trade clauses. It's just unbelievable, the disaster that this season has become. And quite frankly, they deserve it because they put themselves into this position.
It just doesn't make sense why they're this bad without Hughes.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hawks weren't even that bad without Bedard because you have talented players around you, and the Devils have talented players. Just doesn't make sense.
Goaltending's been trash. That's an issue.
Markstrom's been bad.
But that game against the Wild was so encouraging. And if they lay an egg tonight against the Kraken, I'll be all the way back out again. Because you can't have that good of a performance. I mean, against the Wild, Nico Hischier had one of the best games I've ever seen him have on Monday night against the Wild. He was all over the place. They couldn't get nothing going offensively when he was on the ice, the Wild. And then when he was on the ice, he was all over the place with the puck when he had the puck on his stick. 2 assists, unbelievable plays to make good passes. The first one was Mercer. I mean, the second one was Palat, I think, oddly enough. Hamilton had one of his best games. He was a healthy scratch the night before. They lost to Winnipeg. And when they lost to Winnipeg on Sunday, I was like, this is probably it. Probably time to, throw in the towel. And then they come out and do that to the Wild on Monday, and I was just stunned. So a 5-game winning streak would get them right back in it. But, and they've won 8 in a row this season, believe it or not. That feels like 10 years ago. But they do have an 8-game winning streak under their belt this season. So we'll see what they can do if they finally get it together. But for right now, they are absolutely not even close to my most disappointing team in the Eastern Conference. It's bad. Well, Frank, I had my time to eat crap talking about how bad the New Jersey Devils are. It's time to talk about, in period number 3, the National Football League. Frank.
VP, I don't know what you got for me here.
There's 3 things. First and foremost, the Buffalo Bills. They squeak out a win over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I was waiting for a text.
Unbelievable.
I would have bet my life you were texting me.
I was by our good friends, the Bosses, and we went in the hot tub right after one of the games ended and watched the New England game from the hot tub. So I wasn't locked in on my phone as much as I normally am on a playoff football day that day. So apologies for that. There ain't going to be no hot tub this weekend when the Bills win.
No, there'll just be a hockey game against the Bruins.
Yeah, I know. But I'll be locked in. I'll be watching it.
No, I know.
I'm actually going to get to the United Center with time to spare so I can, lock in on football while watching puck. But it is tough. Buffalo Bills, they squeak out a win over the Jags. Trevor Lawrence threw a couple meatballs trying to be hero, especially that game-winning one for Buffalo. But that play Josh Allen made, Frank, where he trucked everyone. He looked like Walter Payton.
The 11-yard
as a quarterback. Oh my, yeah, that might be. The Eagles should be ashamed of themselves.
Push of all time.
The Eagles should be ashamed of themselves because the greatest tush push of all time is not by an Eagles player.
It was unbelievable.
Absolutely. I've never seen anything like him. He is a specimen. He's unbelievable. I'm super happy. I have a video of you trash talking Josh Allen from before he became your favorite player about how you didn't trust him. I have it saved on my phone. I watch it every now and again for a little giggle. I was draftjoshallen.com. I will never forget when he was at Wyoming and I'm listening to part of my take. DraftJoshAllen.com. Josh Allen has big hands. Josh Allen has nice teeth. Josh Allen has great hair. All reasons to draft Josh Allen. Go to DraftJoshAllen.com. And then the Buffalo Bills draft him 7th overall. And then you type in that night of the draft, you type in DraftJoshAllen.com, and it redirects you to the Buffalo Bills website. They bought the domain of DraftJoshAllen.com. It was unbelievable. So I've been all in on Josh even longer than you. You're more in on him now.
I'm obsessed.
Full marks. You're more in on him now, but from the beginning, draft Josh Allen.
I didn't really know who he was. Like, I wasn't into like football as much as I am now, as I was back in the day, like when he was at Wyoming.
You would have trash talk a Wyoming quarterback going 7th overall.
I wasn't like watching college football as much back then.
Yeah, I still think now though, if a quarterback came out of Wyoming, you're coming out.
Isn't it crazy? Like he went to Wyoming and then like I don't know. It's just great because you don't normally see quarterbacks like that come from schools such as Wyoming.
He was different, but the thing is, he was like the 4th quarterback taken that draft. Because Baker Mayfield went 1st overall, and Baker Mayfield's a great quarterback, but he's not Josh Allen.
Who were the others?
Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold went 4th overall to the Jets.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's been really fun watching what Josh Allen has become over the years. But I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on the Bills win over. And then we'll quickly go through some of the other ones. But what do you think of it?
It was I was standing, yelling. I screamed at the end of the game when Trevor Lawrence threw that BLT, second one of the game. It was a roller coaster and waves of emotion. But Josh Allen looked the most calm I have seen him this season. Didn't panic. You know, when they blew it against the Eagles, or not was it the Eagles? Yeah, when they went for 2, when they lost 13-12, and they blew it against the Eagles. There was so much frustration that I saw from him throughout the game. You know, he was throwing his helmet down. He was just clearly in his head. You didn't see that from Josh Allen against the Jaguars this week. They were losing for most of the game. It was back and forth. Then the Bills take the lead. Then the Jaguars score with 8 minutes to go. Then the Jaguars are leading with 4 minutes to go. But there was no frustration on the face of Josh Allen throughout the game. And what do some of the best quarterbacks do, especially in the playoffs? They find ways to win. Patrick Mahomes has found ways to win. Tom Brady found ways to win when he was down 28-3 in the Super Bowl. They found ways to win. It wasn't pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty, but they found ways to win. This was his first ever career game-winning drive in a playoff game, because the games they won, they didn't have to have a game-winning drive. And the games that they needed to have a game-winning drive was mostly running into Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs when they couldn't do. Part of the reason why this was their first road playoff game with Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, and their first road playoff win, I should say. And their first road playoff win since 1992, because anytime they were on the road, it was in the AFC Championship against the Chiefs where they would lose. But this just seems a more composed Josh Allen. He didn't get in his head. The decisions that Sean McDermott made throughout the game, which he's made some questionable decisions throughout the year, and I've said that, but they were pinpoint. And like I said, VP, they weren't dominant the whole game, but they didn't need to be. It was the decisions that they made that got them the win. And it just felt sweet. And I let out a big scream. When I let out that scream after the game, it hurt a little bit. I'm not going to lie. The next day, I'm like, boy, that scream really got to me. It was unbelievable, though. And it was beautiful to watch. And hey, this week, we're rolling into Denver. We'll see.
All right, let's get into the making fun of you a little bit now that we praised you and your favorite team and all that a little bit. Let's go back to last week's episode of BarDown Talking Hockey. Hey, we're making our predictions for Super Wildcard Weekend. Frank, I think the hardest game to predict this weekend is the game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. What are your thoughts?
I'm stunned.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's actually the easiest game to pick. I think there's no chance, no shot. You're on glue, VP. I don't know, VP, how you could be on such good glue. You got the Elmers out thinking that this is even going to be close. What are you talking about? The Philadelphia Eagles are going to run away with this. And then the San Francisco 49ers go out there and they dummy the Philadelphia Eagles. They take them out. They take out the defending champions are defending no more. The Philadelphia Eagles are out, and the San Francisco 49ers prevail against the Philadelphia defense that was so vaunted and couldn't be beat, and Kyle Shanahan's offense wasn't going to be able to go in there. It's not even the fact that the Eagles lost. It is the fact that I was told that it was an easy game to pick, and I should bet the house on the Eagles.
I'm stunned. I really I can't believe it, VP. Because like I just don't know how the 49ers win. I don't. Their defense is not great. But I don't know. I'm at a loss for words.
Is it as bad as the Bears defense?
No.
They
But
win. They find ways to win. This is
But
an
it's just-
offensive league. The
Nick
National
Sirianni
Football
should
League.
be ashamed of himself, though. His offense stinks.
Well, I've been mad at him I was mad at him. Then he
He should
shoved
be-
it up my hoop by winning the Super Bowl, and now I'm mad at him again. So
He should be ashamed of himself that these receivers, AJ Brown, can't catch a ball. I mean, we have so many drops on offense. Like, it shouldn't be Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley the only offense running the ball. I mean, they can't get anything done.
there's no way AJ Brown is back next season. No,
Like,
shot.
I'm starting to replay the games
So do the
like
Bills.
in my head. Like, even against the Bills, when the Eagles played the Bills, okay, their offense stunk, but their defense was great. But like, I guess that should have been a turning point because the Bills defense has not been great this year, and neither has the 49ers, but they were only able to put up 13 points against the Bills. So you would think they'd be able to put up more points against the 49ers defense being so bad, but it's just the offense is horrible. It's just I didn't realize it's that bad. It is like putrid.
And when you have a good defense against a good offense, but your defense or the benefit always goes to the better offense to me in today's NFL. Yes, defense wins championships. We'll see what Seattle and Denver are able to do this week. We'll make predictions in a couple minutes. But I mean, that San Francisco offense is a weapon.
It is.
The three best offenses in the NFC are still remaining: the Bears, the 49ers, and the Rams.
Yeah.
That is a fact. And it's an offensive league. It should be the NOL, the National Offense League, because these top defenses aren't able to win, and a lot of the top defenses don't have offenses that can keep up with the other elite offenses, even if they're playing against a really good defense. And we saw that in the San Francisco 49ers game. The last point I wanted to make before we make our predictions, Frank, another thing I was told that in key situations, there was no shot Ben Johnson would go for it on fourth down. And in that game against the Lions, he would never do that again, especially in the playoffs, especially when the game is on the line and they lose if they don't convert on that fourth down.
Right.
He went for it 6 times on fourth down against the Green Bay Packers, and one of them, the 4th and 8, where Caleb made arguably the greatest throw of all time, at least in Bears history, to Rome Odunze, 4th and 8. If they don't convert on that, the game is over. And they converted on it. Ben Johnson believes in his play calling. He believes in his players, and he will go for it on fourth down no matter what. It could be the Super Bowl. He will go with his instincts.
There were just some very questionable, like when they were down 21-3, and you're going for it earlier in the game, though.
On the 31. I know what you're talking about.
I just think that's so stupid because it's just so early. Like,
he doesn't trust, which is what I tried to tell you last week. He doesn't.
But Green Bay capitalized on it. It was just a bad decision. But I think he has to trust his defense a little more, or he's got to do something because the Bears can't keep finding ways to be down multiple touchdowns, double-digit leads at halftime. It's not sustainable.
I'm not arguing that they don't have to be better on defense, and they were in the second half. They only gave up 6
That's
points.
what I mean. Trust your defense.
But the way things were going before he was able to make halftime adjustments, you had to take the ball out of the Jordan Love was, and it didn't work that time, and he still went back to it in the third and fourth quarter.
When he went for it on like the zone 31, it was like the first or second drive of the game. You don't know how your defense is going to play yet. You have no.
It wasn't working early. It was so obvious it wasn't working early. Luckily, they figured it out because it was really bad. I talk about defense, this being an offensive league. The defense was like extra bad in the first half. Like they were just Jordan Love was picking corners, driving down the field unbelievably. Like there was no resistance basically. And so we'll see. I can't believe they didn't recover that fumble, but you know what though, Frank? At the end of the day, they found a way to win a football game again. And we're going to get into our predictions in a couple seconds here, but I mean, team of destiny. they're a good team. Like I'm not taking their defense is not great. Their offense sometimes it takes it takes a minute for them to get going, but they've been finding ways to figure it out. So we will see how that goes. But Frank, let's get into the predictions of this wild card weekend before I send you into breaking bets. We're running a little long today. On Saturday, you're going to see your favorite team, the Buffalo Bills, take on the Denver Broncos in the early game, 3:30 CBS Paramount Plus. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, honestly, I think that the Bills are going to carve up the Broncos. I think the Broncos, we're talking about how it's an offensive league. I don't trust the Denver Broncos offense that much. Yeah, they got a great defense, but from what we've seen, and early on, the Bills opened up as a favorite against the Broncos. They're not a favorite anymore. They're a 1.5 point underdog, but that just goes to show you what they think of the Buffalo Bills and what they can do. And let me tell you, Josh Allen is one of the scariest quarterbacks left in the postseason, especially with how he played against the Jaguars. And I think that's going to happen against the Denver Broncos too. I think they're going to roll into Denver. It's not going to be an easy game. I'm not saying they're going to blow them out, but I do think they're going to come away with the victory by any means necessary. I don't care if it's pretty, but I think they walk out of Denver with the win.
I'm also picking the Buffalo Bills. I do think they're going to roll into Denver and stomp on them a little bit. I do.
I hope
and get
so.
to the AFC Championship game. I do think so. Because, yes, they're 1.5 point dogs. They started as favorites. But when you're on the road and a 1.5 point dog, it's essentially a pick 'em because you get 3 for being at home, basically. So, yeah, I do think Josh Allen's going to will this team. He's going to find a way to win a football game, just like he did against Jacksonville, who might be a better overall roster than Buffalo as well. But he is the best quarterback remaining, and a lot of the time that prevails. Buffalo Bills over the Denver Broncos. Then the night game that night, Frank, is actually my favorite football game on the slate for the whole weekend. Obviously, the one I'm most excited for is the one between, that includes my favorite team, the Chicago Bears. I would even argue I'm more excited for the one that includes the New England Patriots as a Tom Brady supporter for all these years. But in terms of pure football, if they were just wearing colors and not...
We lost VP.
Complete accident. Did you hear me?
Nope.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, good. That was a mistake on my part. I accidentally unplugged my mic like an idiot. Because I wanted to plug something in to charge the computer. But if they were just wearing colors and they didn't represent a city or a team, I think this would be the most exciting in the San Francisco 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks. You all might remember the Richard Sherman, Michael Crabtree game. I mean, these two teams don't like each other very much. This is this round's version of Bears-Packers in terms of two rivals playing each other. What do you think?
I'm going to go with who I think has the better offense and defense, the Seattle Seahawks. They've been unbelievable this season. They're 1-1 against each other this year. Obviously, the one win for the 49ers came early on when the Seahawks defense or offense wasn't clicking. They didn't score a lot of points. But Sam Darnold and that offense, they look very dangerous. And I think they're going to get the best of the defense of the 49ers just with how good the Seahawks offense has been.
Yeah, we have our first disagreement, which is wonderful. I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to win. They're 7-point underdogs, and they're going to go into Seattle and find a way to beat them. I really think Kyle Shanahan puts together a game plan to stop this Seattle defense from keeping them from reaching championship Sunday. He is, in my opinion, he's either the best or second best coach in the NFL. The other is playing on Sunday against my favorite team. But I think even without George Kittle, I don't love Sam Darnold in a playoff game. We'll see. I'm a fan of Sam Darnold. I just don't know if I'm ready to go there yet with picking him over a Kyle Shanahan coached team. I got San Francisco winning the football game.
Okay.
What was your record last week?
4-6. I think
That's
you were
impossible.
6-0.
I was 6-0. You were 4-2.
Or that's what I meant. 4-4.
4 out of 6. Yeah.
Yeah. 4-2.
6-0. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Frank. Hell yeah. The Houston Texans against the New England Patriots Sunday, 2:00.
The Texans look dangerous, man. I'm going with the Texans here. They look dangerous. They're spooky, man. Oh my God. What they did to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, it should be taken with a grain of salt because the Steelers, they've stunk. They stink. They got no offense either.
Aaron Rodgers sucks.
Aaron Rodgers sucks.
Always
He's
has.
old. I love when the announcer's like, oh, and Aaron Rodgers tries to take off. Well, dude, he's so slow. Like, he looks bad. He looks bad back there. The Texans carved him up. This Texans team should not be underestimated. They're going into New England. It's going to be a good game, but I think the Texans are going to prevail.
Absolutely. Now, I just got through this whole soliloquy on offense being more important than defense. Texans defense scores, though. They find
really
ways
good.
to score. Did they score 2 touchdowns against the Steelers? Their defense,
I don't know.
they at least
I know
scored
they had
one.
one. I know they had one, but their defense is very dangerous.
If they create turnovers, they can score. And C.J. Stroud is a really good quarterback. There's a reason C.J. Stroud keeps finding his way. Their Texans defense hasn't always been this good, even in the past. There's a reason C.J. Stroud keeps finding his way into, the divisional round of playoffs. He keeps finding his way here every time. He's a really good player. And if they can find ways, Christian Kirk, is Collins out? Is he going to be out?
I don't know. He has a concussion, so probably.
So we'll see how it goes for their offense. But
They usually don't play the next week.
yeah, I think their offense is still decent. I know a lot of people crap on it. It's good enough to outscore their opponents when that defense is as strong as it is. I know I'm slightly contradicting what I said earlier about defenses and offenses, but I think to Houston's offense isn't ass the way that Philly's was. You know what I mean? Like the 49ers, and it's not like they're playing a juggernaut offense like the 49ers. They're playing New England, who I think they're good. They're great. I'm not sure they're ready to win yet. I think the Houston, and I'm rooting for New England. I'm going to go to a party in a Gronkowski t-shirt. I'm rooting for New England. I think they're going to lose to the Houston Texans.
Could you imagine Bills Patriots though in the AFC Championship?
That's what the whole world wants to see outside
a
of Houston.
rivalry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There will be a guaranteed rivalry if LA wins this next game because it'll be a division matchup in the conference title game. Frank, 5:30 Sunday night, Los Angeles Rams, Chicago Bears, the game of the week.
I root for the Bears. I was rooting for them hard against Green Bay. I want to see them win. If the Bills don't win the Super Bowl, I'm rooting for the Bears to win the Super Bowl. I like the Bears. I love the Bears. I want to see them win. I don't think they can against the Los Angeles Rams. I really don't. This Rams team, they had a scare against the Panthers, but once again, we talk about it. We've talked about it today. Quarterbacks like Matthew Stafford, coaches like Sean McVay find ways to win games, and that's what they did. They just left. There was too much time left on the clock for Matthew Stafford, and he made it happen. And I get worried what the Rams offense is going to do with the Bears defense, especially if the Bears get down early and they can't jump out to a lead. They are not going to make an 18-point comeback, a 14-point comeback, a 17-point, whatever the comeback is at halftime. If the Bears want to win this, they're going to have to come out strong and grasp that lead early. And I just don't think it's going to happen. I think the Rams are going to win. But I really hope the Bears win this game.
Ben Johnson's been incredible. I still would give the edge to McVay for one more season at least. Caleb Williams has been great. I would still give the edge to Matthew Stafford. Maybe by this time next year, I won't say that. Although Matthew Stafford's finger might look like a sausage. We don't know. He's got a spread. That could be an issue. And they're not good in the cold, the very, very cold. I would give the edge on defense to Los Angeles. I would give the edge on offense to Los Angeles. Outside of the offensive line, I think you'd give the edge to the Bears in terms of offensive line. And despite all of that, I'm picking the Bears. And Tom Waddle said it best today on Cap and J Hood. I'm picking the Bears because. Just because. There's no real football reason to pick the Bears other than the fact that they find ways to win better than anybody else in the NFL this season.
Yeah.
And if Matthew Stafford's finger is truly impeding him from throwing the football the way that he normally does, and it's going to be 8 degrees, I think is what we're hearing. There's a chance of it snowing. I don't like the bear weather argument because bear weather hasn't helped the Bears not be complete trash for the last 40 years. So I really don't love the bear weather argument, but I do love the argument that the Rams are, I think it's 1 in 10 in outdoor games below 30 degrees in the playoffs. That's a stat that doesn't favor them. Fun fact, Sean McVay is about to coach in his 15th playoff game, and he has never played the same team twice.
I know, that's weird. I saw
Isn't that crazy?
Too. It's weird.
15 unique opponents. And for a team that's made multiple deep playoff runs, they won the Super Bowl. They lost in the Super Bowl. Unique opponents across the boards. The only 2 teams in the NFC that they haven't played against are the New York Football Giants and the Washington Commanders. The Bears will it'll be their first time playing the Bears. If they do win and make it to the NFC Championship game, that streak will break because they have played the Seahawks and the 49ers in the playoffs, which the poetry says the Bears win that to keep that streak alive. And then next year they'll play the Giants and the Commanders in the first and second round. And then lose. That would be crazy. Commanders is possible. Giants, I don't know about that. But Frank, I'm just picking the Bears.
I hope so, VP. I hope they win. I really do. I really hope the Bears win. It would be great to see. Deep down, if the Bears won the Super Bowl, it would be great. Obviously, I'm a Chicago fan. But you still think Bills-Bears is no shot?
Yes, but I'm less sure saying it now than I was last week.
If both the Bills and Bears win, then it gets a little scary here.
If the Bears beat the Rams, I think they can go to the Super Bowl. I'll say that. The Bills have to get to the Super Bowl for me to think they can beat the Texans.
Okay.
They have to prove me wrong against the Texans.
All right. We'll see.
Well, not hinting at my pick for next week. New England could easily win. They're a great team. They have a great quarterback. He's probably going to come in second for MVP.
Are you rooting for the Bills over the Broncos?
Yes, of course. DraftJoshAllen.com. I would root for them over the Texans, even if I picked the Texans. I will not root for them over the Patriots.
Ooh, could be a little spicy in the AFC Championship.
Could be. Absolutely could be. Well, Frank, I think it's time for America's favorite podcast segment of the week. Breaking Bets.
Where's my money, bitch?
Players, the time for talk is over. The floor is yours.
2-0 in 2026. Starting off the year hot. Let's make it 4-0. In the NHL tonight, got an interesting matchup between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Los Angeles Kings. The Golden Knights, they're hot right now. We talked about them. They were on each of our power rankings. Now is this time to ride the hot Knights squad. Plus, the Kings have been dog meat at home. And the Knights, fun fact, actually have more wins on the road than they do on their home ice. Kings won the early opening night matchup, 6-5 in a shootout on October 8th. I think it was opening night of the regular season. But these two teams are very, very different than they were on opening night. Don't overthink this one here. Take the hotter team right now. Vegas Golden Knights money line -112. Bet to win 2 units. And I just got to do it again. I see value here. The Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. I got to go with the Bills money line -112. Bet to win 5 units. Josh Allen and Sean McDermott finally got their first playoff road win as a duo, and they got their first playoff road win since 1992. Josh Allen, like I said, he was cool as a cucumber against the Jaguars, and it took a game-winning drive for him to get it done. But he just will find ways to win, and he'll do it against the Denver Broncos as well. And Stephen A. Smith has been running his mouth saying that the Broncos are sending the Bills home Saturday night. Stephen A., keep running your mouth. Tyrell Shavers, he played 22 snaps for the Bills in the second half with a torn ACL. He tore his ACL in the first half. He played 22 snaps in the second half on a torn ACL. This is the toughest group of guys I know in the NFL. And the Bills are going to send the number 1 team in the AFC packing. Bills money line -112. Bet to win 5 units.
You're mad at Stephen A., huh?
He's running his mouth, saying like it's basically going to be a cupcake for the Broncos that they're going to send the Bills home. I love it. I love it. Doubt him.
Is it because he was opposite of Skip Bayless for all those years, and you just love yourself some Skip Bayless because of the Russell Westbrook hate?
No, I got nothing against Stephen A. It's just he's running his mouth. He's not using his brain.
You're a Skip guy.
At all. He's not using his brain. That's all I could say. He's running his mouth. He doesn't. I mean, we got tough guys over here. We'll see.
All right. So if I get Stephen A. on the show for you to face him next Wednesday, if the Bills lose, what would you say?
I'd say your take was dumb, but it ended up being right. But it was a dumb take.
Then it wasn't dumb.
I mean, he's basically saying the Bills have no shot. He's being an idiot.
If they get creamed by Denver, they had no shot. I think that I picked the Bills? I don't agree now.
But I don't believe they have no shot. I think any of the teams left has a shot.
Yeah, but if they lose by 30, they had no shot. That would prove him correct.
See, I don't agree. I even think if the Bills beat Denver by 30, I wouldn't say that Denver had no shot. They had a shot. I mean, it's like, that's just crazy.
Nah. You lose by 30, you had no shot. The Steelers had no shot. The Panthers had a shot. They did in the end. Before you would have said they didn't,
almost
but
won.
they did. They did. They did.
You could argue they should have won that game. They had better defense. They would have won that game.
Hope for the Bears. Hope for the Bears right there.
I'm pulling for the Bears.
Well, of course.
I want the Bears to win the Super Bowl if Josh doesn't.
I don't have a problem with the Rams. I mean, Stafford's going to add an MVP. There's a chance he adds another Super Bowl if they win this game. I mean, I used to take all the heat for being a Matthew Stafford defender. And I've been more than proven right over the years. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the last 15, 20 years. But I hope he goes down this weekend. I really do.
I don't want the Bills to play the Bears in the Super Bowl. I really don't. I'm not even kidding.
That would be your luck.
I don't want it to happen.
That would be so Frankie Mueller. The Bills finally get in. There's no Mahomes. There's no Burrow. And then they lose in the Super Bowl to the Chicago Bears.
I'm not even worried about them losing. I just for the fact of rooting, I don't want to root.
Oh, Frank, you have pissed the sports gods off so bad in the last 5 years. There is no way the Bears would lose a Super Bowl to the Bills. No shot. I believe in sports gods. With the Ovechkin thing and the Pujols thing. It's going to be the Crosby thing eventually. They hate you.
I just don't want to have to root against the Bears.
Is that Grogu on your shirt?
Yeah.
Okay, you better get some help from the Force.
It'd just be so like it wouldn't like I don't know. I'd be rolling up and everybody be rooting for the Bears. I'd be rolling up in a Josh Allen jersey as like the villain.
I need it.
Like no, it would be. I might just hibernate and watch.
That's what I'm rooting for. That's what I'm rooting for now.
No,
you don't have the nuts. You don't have the nuts. You don't have the nuts to stay home alone. You do not have the nuts to stay home alone. I don't believe it.
I'm not showing my face.
Nope, you don't have the nuts. You You have no spine. You absolutely would not
And this is
miss
why
the
I'm
Super Bowl
happy
party.
that the Bills are in the AFC and the Bears are in the NFC. Because like the odds of it happening is just it's not likely, right?
The odds of it happening now are a 1 in 16 chance.
We take those opportunities. We take those odds. We take those odds.
I did play the little screenshot game. I think it was Fox NFL posted it this morning.
Mhm.
Oh no, Bleacher Report Gridiron posted it this morning. And I swear to God, on my life, this was my first screenshot. I took a screenshot. They were doing that thing where it like goes quickly, and whatever the screenshot is will be the Super Bowl matchup. You have no marbles, Frank, according to Travis. None. None. I agree. But this was what it landed on. Bears Broncos.
Oh well, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, I think so too.
We'll put Bo Nix in the ground.
Bo Nix. Frank, it's been a great show. You have no marbles. You were wrong about Ben Johnson. What was I wrong about lately? I have to have been wrong about something lately. They're few and farther between these days. My draft scouting has been pretty spot on lately. My football picks pretty good. Man, I'm due for an L. I'm a little scared. I'm due for an L. Even my Vikings L wasn't braggable for you because you were also wrong. So like that wasn't even like it was like a half L for both of us.
I mean, I guess.
6-10 is very different from being a half game out of the playoffs. We were both wrong. We were both wrong by about 3 wins. We were both wrong by about 3 wins.
Yeah, but you said they'd like that.
Yeah, I said they'd win the NFC North with 12 wins. We were both off
And
by
I was
like
there's
3
no
wins.
shot they're getting double
You
digit
said
wins.
6 and 12. You said 6.
So
if
that would be
anything,
impossible.
whatever. 6 and 11. Whatever. 6 and 11. You said 6 and whatever. We were both off by 3 games. It's a half L for both. I need a true L soon. It's coming. Oh, it's coming. Everybody, no sports fan is perfect. Like, I'm just on a little bit of a heater. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We'll see if Frankie has the nuts to show up to a Super Bowl party if the Bills ever play the Bears. It's not even out of the realm of possibility like in the next 2 to 3 years. I don't think the Bills are necessarily going anywhere. If they lose on Sunday to Denver, I would fire their coach and bring in an offensive guru ASAP.
If they lost to the Jaguars, he was fired.
I think if they lose, I think if they don't put up points.
If they win the Super Bowl, though, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, of course. The same way the Eagles had to retain Sirianni. Anyway, I hope everybody enjoys. Make sure you tune in next week where one of Frankie or I will get to roast each other, or maybe Frankie's wins will only be half wins, like the Vikings. Maybe my half wins will only be half losses. We'll see. We thank everybody for tuning in. If you were in the chat, thank you very much. And Frank, is there anything else you got to get off your chest?
I'm very excited about the playoffs this weekend.
Me too. Well, as they say in hockey, let's do that hockey. Make sure you're watching. I'll see everybody at the United Center on Thursday night against the Calgary Flames, and then again on Saturday against the Boston Bruins. And then we'll be watching plenty of football throughout the weekend, which you could catch here on the Barroom Network, all the live reactions and recap. Frank and I will be back next Wednesday to recap the games that were. And as always, Frank, thank you for listening.
We're talking hockey, we always will!